Hello, hello, Toneful people. How is everybody out there? It's good to see you all. I see some great people in the chat, so I'm going to check it out before I get into things too much. Excuse me. And don't mind me, I'm having some major allergy weirdnesses, so I apologize if I sound like I have a frog in the throat, don't you know? Anyway, I see my Aunt Holly showed up. Brian Gerard's here. Alan is cool. He's here too. Man, there's a lot of cool people in here. I mean, everybody's cool. I haven't seen one person that's not cool. Cindy's here. G's here. Wanda's here. Mike Panich is here. Candy's here. Kay's here. I sound like Romper Room. Some of you younger people won't understand that, but there was an old show called Romper Room, and the lady, she held up a thing, and she said, I see Cindy, and I see Michael, and I see Catherine. I kind of feel like I'm on Romper Room right now. Anyway, we're going to have fun tonight, because you can't help but have fun with Curtis Swift. We spent a lot of time together, and he's just the greatest guy. So I'm going to get right to a couple things after I say hello. I saw a couple new people. Is that Darren? It's Darren, that little rascal. Hey, Curtis, if you're out there for a minute. Darren said you're the best egg shaker that ever came out of Pittsburgh. You were the best egg shaker that ever came out of Pittsburgh. Oh my, Grandma Minnie. Wow. Hello, how are you? Wonderful to see you. And Scott Jackson is here, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Jackson with the news. He's here. Oh my gosh. You know, I thought I smelled this funny smell, and then I looked and I saw Frank Savoca is in the chat room. I'm teasing. You have to know Frank. And Frank busted our chops like you cannot believe. His name is New Jersey Frank. New Jersey? Frank from New Jersey. And he used to bust our chops like crazy. Hi, Frank. Okay. So anyway, I appreciate you all being here. And every Tuesday I'm doing something like this. And right now I'm going to tell you about some stuff that went on this week. So I put out this project called Tone Poems to Chill By in a Sometimes Stressful World. And I wrote the songs, instrumental songs. Couldn't play guitar for a year, couldn't sing, couldn't do anything. And I wrote these songs. They were all instrumentals, and they were meant to be soothing and calming, and they're just songs that I wrote. And a friend of mine named Mike MacArthur, who's a great sax player, and you may remember him from the very first interview on Toneful Tuesdays, he said, you should get these songs to Adam Leibowitz. And Adam runs a company called ASL Music Media, and he's a great guy. And he said he's going to let you know if he thinks this can be played in the smooth jazz format. And lo and behold, Mike urging me to do that has resulted in getting some radio play through Adam. And there's another guy that's been really helpful. His name's Robert McLean from the Sundial Agency. So shout out to those guys. So anyway, the song Winter Park that Curtis Swift is on with me went live to radio this last week, and it was actually less than a week. We've had 17 stations pick it up. So watch out for Winter Park. Also, please add it to your streaming. It's on most of the streaming platforms now. So if you want to add my Spotify channel, and I'll show you what it looks like. If you go to my Spotify, that's what it'll look like. So if you find a guy that looks funny like that, you're at the right place. Anyway, so Without further ado, I want to play Winter Park for you. This is the entire cut with my friend Curtis Swift joining me, and I hope you enjoy it. Real quick before we keep going, if you've been enjoying Toneful Tuesdays, I'd really appreciate it if you'd take a second and subscribe to the channel. It's a small thing, but it really does make a difference. It helps the channel grow, it helps more people discover what we're doing here, and helps me bringing you great guests, meaningful conversation, music, and encouragement week after week. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much. And if you're not, I'd surely be grateful for your support. All right, let's get back to it. Okay. Well, there you go. Curtis Swift on the tenor saxophone, Winter Park. So it's available on my Fourth Wall store. It's going to be available other places as well, but you can get the CD or digital downloads there, plus some other stuff. And I'm not going to take too long here because I got to tell you about who's coming on next week, and then we're going to get right to Curtis because he's wonderful. And by the way, Darren's on here. And hey, Brian Girard, thank you very much. And I saw you were speaking Italian a little earlier. So I know a couple words. Most of them were words that my grandfather, who was a shoemaker, would use when he hit his thumb with a hammer. So my Italian, understanding Italian goes not much further than that. Anyway, Darren Miller is here, and I wanted to tell you, if you're out in the Pittsburgh area, make sure you go check out Darren Miller. He does a great solo show. He does some duo shows, occasionally full band things. He's a good guy and a good friend of mine. So Darren Miller, he's also one of the largest guitar players you'll ever come across. It's like the Hulk on guitar. It's amazing. When I first met him, it was just so intimidating. He was so big. Anyway, here's who's coming on next week. Coming Tuesday, May 26th at 7 p.m. on Toneful Tuesdays. I'm Tony Janflone Jr., and I'll be your host, welcoming the incredible drummer and musical director, Reggie Jackson. Reggie has toured and performed with legends including Diane Shore, Dr. John, Benny Golson, Arturo Sandoval, Terrence Blanchard, Kirk Whalum, Chuck Loeb, and many more. We'll talk music, life, rhythm, inspiration, and the journey behind a world-class career. That's Tuesday, May 26th at 7 p.m. right here on my YouTube channel. Don't miss it. As you may know, before each episode of Toneful Tuesdays, I like to take a few moments to introduce the artist we're about to hear from. And this evening's guest is someone who is very special to me. This evening we're featuring Curtis Swift, a wonderful saxophonist, performer, transcriber, and the creator of saxsolos.com, one of the most impressive online resources for saxophone solo transcriptions. Curtis's musical journey began with the sound of Junior Walker on the radio, and from a young age, he showed a gift for learning music by ear. He went on to study with respected musicians and educators, including James Hulick, Jerry Coker, and Matt Otto. And over the years, he developed a deep love for listening, learning, performing, and understanding music from the inside out. Curtis has performed in many different musical settings and has worked with outstanding musicians including Louise Mandrell, Buddy Whittington, Wanda King, Eddie Floyd, Steve Cropper, and Anson Funderburg. He was also an important part of the Pittsburgh music scene where he performed for over 20 years, including 20 years working with me. Curtis has also been a meaningful part of my own recording history, playing on my Live at the Blues Cafe CD as well as my new Tone Poems Volume 1 CD. His saxophone voice, musicianship, and feel have always brought something special to the music.
Well, it goes without saying, I want something real. You are playing hardly ideal. You're still deep below this feeble disguise. I can read the story, it's in your eyes. Oh yes I can.
One of the most remarkable parts of Curtis's story is saxsolos.com, a website that he has grown into a worldwide resource featuring thousands of saxophone solo transcriptions. What began as a way to strengthen his own ear has become a tremendous tool for saxophonists, students, teachers, and music lovers around the world. Through his work, Curtis has helped preserve the language of great saxophone players, giving others the chance to study their phrasing, feel, ideas, and musical vocabulary in a deeper way.
you gonna run to now? Hey Joe, I'm asking you where you gonna run to now? I'm going way down south, way down south to Mexico way. I'm going way down south now, way down south to Mexico way. Ain't no man gonna find me. Hey Joe, hey, just shot your leader down. I know that you did. Hey, hey Joe, I heard you shot your lady down. Yeah, you shot her down to the ground. Hey, hey now.
My friends, would you please join me in welcoming my dear friend, the fabulous Curtis Swift, to Toneful Tuesdays. Friends, I am so happy to be here this evening with my friend Curtis Swift. How are you, Curtis?
I'm doing good.
You're doing great.
Doing good. Good to see you.
Great to see you, and you're always awesome. It's always a pleasure to see you.
I'll pay you after the end of the interview.
I'll send you a bill.
Okay.
It's going to be a big one. All right. So we're going to get to the questioning here, fella. So Curtis, your earliest influence was hearing Junior Walker play What Does It Take? And it was on the radio. What was it about that sound that first grabbed you?
I just loved that sound. I just heard it and said, wow, that's nice. I loved it. I liked the sound, it just sounded great. And seeing videos of him later on, he was a sweater. I mean, he poured out buckets of sweat on the stage, but I love the sound. I did. I always liked Junior Walker, and, it makes me, I always wonder, like, people like Dave Sanborn, who did they listen to, Probably made me want to play the saxophone,
That's great. I have told people we've had these conversations about influences, but the way you put it to me one day was, and I'm going to do my imitation of you because this is what I do for everybody. You came up to me and you said, Tom, I wonder what Michael Brecker likes to eat. And I said, I don't know. I don't really think about food when I talk about Michael Brecker. And you were like, no, what he likes to listen to. And ever since, I thought, what a great analogy. And that's pretty cool. And David Sanborn obviously did listen to him.
Yeah, I would think so. I think his first, it was somebody else that he really listened to, and the name passes me right now.
I know exactly who you're talking about because Mike MacArthur brought him up. Hank Crawford.
Hank Crawford, that's it exactly. But you always wonder about that. I mean, it's like, who did Charlie Parker listen to? I mean, you knew who he listened to back in the day was Coleman Hawkins and those guys from the Territory bands and things like that, Ben Webster's and all those, and Lester Youngs and things like that. But, who do these guys listen to get to where they are and then because you look at John Coltrane, he did something, and Michael Brecker. Michael Brecker just took it to a whole different level, so.
Yeah. Well, we all ingest what we ingest, and then it comes out, hopefully, in a form that has our fingerprints on it.
Right, right. When you play, I can say that's Tony Janflone Jr. because I've played with you for so long. I just know your signature, I know how you talk, and that's what it's about to me is talking, you got to be able to talk and
well, thank you. I know when it's you too, man.
It's talking. It's music's talking. It's a language.
Yeah. It's hard to get an identity, but I think if you keep at it, you do end up with one. I just talked to Billy Price on the last show, and he said for a long time he felt like he was an imitator. Now, to me, I hear early recordings of Billy, and he always sounds like Billy to me.
Right, right.
Like even early when he was 22 years old singing with Roy Buchanan, he still, to me, sounds like Billy Price.
Right, right.
So I think, we have our phases and the people that we listen to that influence us, and we grow, and we end up the players that we are after years and years of working on it and listening and having all these influences. But it's funny because I believe God made us all individually, and even at early stages, like when I heard you early, or I heard Billy early, or I heard earlier recordings of Ron Reinhardt, you could always tell that was them, even though they weren't as mature or they didn't have the language that they have now, but they still had a language that was theirs from digesting what influenced them,
Right, right.
Night Music with David Sanborn.
That TV show he had,
Oh yeah, that was a great show, man.
Oh, it was a great show. It was way ahead of its time too, and it's like, why can't we have shows like that anymore? I mean, it's, MTV tried, and now it's not MTV. I don't know what it is, but, it was exciting to watch MTV if you like that kind of music.
MTV doesn't even have music now.
Oh, I know. It's
Music
crazy.
TV does not have music.
Yeah, when if I watch late night shows, I want to hear the bands. I don't really care to hear what they're talking about, because they always have great bands. Johnny Carson just had a stellar band. It just was.
Sure did. Yeah, Jay Leno's band was great too.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm. I believe David Sanborn's show was called Night Music, if I remember.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Great show. Wow,
and then now he, to his credit, he did start a YouTube show and brought in a lot of guests. He had that going for a couple of years, and it was real nice. I always tried to purchase some of his swag, but it was a good show. He had nice people on there, really good players.
Speaking of guys that made a difference, you mentioned Coltrane and you mentioned Michael Brecker that were, innovators, right?
Yeah.
I consider David Sanborn that for the alto.
Oh, absolutely. Dave Sam, I got to meet him twice. He gave me backstage passes to his show. And both times I went to meet him, I couldn't talk because I'm sitting there. First thing I'm thinking is, here's my idol. I mean, I've loved Dave Sanborn since 80s, even before that. And then the other thought I had was, oh, gosh, he'll probably get me arrested for stealing all his licks. Because, you know
what, Curtis, they'd be arresting most of the smooth jazz world.
Yeah.
He's been such an influence on so many people.
Huge.
Just like tenor, Michael Brecker. I mean, when you're that influential, it's really amazing.
Right, it is. I love Dave Sanborn. You know who's on Facebook that you can friend is John Clemmer. And I don't, a lot of people might not know who John Clemmer was, but in the early 70s, he came out with, I hate to use the word smooth jazz albums, but that's kind of what they were. He was like West Coast meets Grateful Dead is the best way I can bring it, because the way he played was like I was a painter and I just wanted to see, I'm going to take some colors and throw it against that's the way it seemed to me that he was playing. And it sounded great. I mean, just let's see what this color does and let's see what this color does, But he's on Facebook and you can friend him, and he's really a nice guy. I mean, you can, say hello, how are you doing? Love your music, all that good stuff. And what you're working on these days. And that's really cool. I was really surprised when I friended him on Facebook, and he's been around for a long time, and he's a great player.
I'm going to look up John Clemmer because I do like him.
Yeah. He's just some of the stuff he did. You listen to it. He was years before everybody else doing that genre. But
right. Friends out there. Sometimes I call this guy G because his name's Gary. It's Gary with 2 R's. So it's Gary Curtis Swift. And we also have a funny story about G. Remember that, Curtis? It was at the back alley of Dow's downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there was this guy. We came out. We were loading out from a gig, and there's this guy, and he walked up to me, Curtis, and George Elliott, right?
Yep.
And he said, G's going to help me out. G's going to help me out. And so which G helped him? I don't remember.
I gave him $1.
I probably did too.
Yeah.
My wife said I was like a magnet. When we were at the Blues Cafe loading out at the end of the night, I got hit up every week.
Yeah. All the time. I remember that.
So I may call him G. So it's either Curtis or G. So this question, I'm going to say G. So G, in the 8th grade, you learned the horn solo for Chicago's Make Me Smile. by ear. And even though you weren't assigned that part, looking back, was that one of the first signs that you had a good ear for music?
Well, I don't know if it was a sign. I was second chair and I didn't have the solo part. And it's like, I want to play that. That sounds like fun. So I took the record off, and there's an old 45, lift and drop the needle, lift and drop the needle. And so I learned it, and I was the only one that got to play it during the concert, because nobody else knew it, I mean, they was reading it. So the band director put me in All County, and then I went to School of the Arts after that, got accepted into there just from learning that solo, But it was, we had a cool band director. He had a couple records, and I think he was like, Flip Phillips, was he the one that dressed up like a woman or something like that back in the day?
You mean Flip Wilson?
Flip Wilson, yeah.
He did Geraldine.
Yeah. So they did funny songs, and I won't go into some of the songs. There was a band way back there in the 60s that was a little edgy, but he was a good band director, and he was a good musician as well. And he had a little band up in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I think that's what it takes for up and coming kids. It's just you have to look for somebody that inspires you, and it's really important. I think it's really important.
Okay, what was his name again?
I have no idea. You asking the wrong person, buddy.
I'm glad he was that important. I have a guy that's similar, okay? And I've mentioned him several times, and I will continue to mention him. His name was Jack Seibel.
Yeah.
And man, when I was in the stage band, and I was probably in 9th grade, we did a version of Henry Mancini's Dreamsville. Remember that beautiful song? Yeah, and so there was a written guitar solo, and it was really just playing the melody. And so what I did was I had this Pat Martino record, and Pat Martino played Dreamsville, and he would play the melody, and then he had these lines in between, filling in between the melody.
Right.
So I transcribed them, and I played them when I went to school, and my band director flipped a lid, man. He stopped the whole band. He said, "Did you hear that? Did you hear that?" And from that point, I was just so inspired by the guy because he got excited over little things like that,
Right.
But I mean, he inspired me so much. So it's even though you don't remember his name, I'm glad you had him because he was important.
I used to have the 45s, and if I still had those, there's a lot of records I wish I still had. And if I had those, I'd have remembered that. But that's over 50 years ago. I just don't.
You and me both. I had a guy, my dad played in a crazy acid rock band called the Marshmallow Steam Shovel.
Yes.
So I used to have the 45. I had several of them, but all the moves we've made, they're gone.
I wouldn't be surprised if I've got that recording of that somewhere.
Well, I have a recording, but I don't have the 45. I looked it up on eBay. They're $300 a piece.
Holy cow. Holy cow.
Yeah, so if any of you folks have a Marshmallow Steam Shovel 45 out there, it's worth something. And if you really wanted to do something nice, you'd send me one. I lost mine in the moves. I don't know what happened.
I think for this next move, I got a feeling I'm going to get rid of all my CDs. It's hard to get rid of books. I might have to keep my books. I'm real sorry. But
I'll tell you what, vinyl's heavy. The vinyl boxes. Do you have vinyl albums still?
No, they're all gone.
Okay.
I remember going into a record store and seeing a George Russell with Eric Dolphy album for $1.15. And man, I was happy. That was a great album. Yeah, and nobody knew who it was but me. Yeah. I was a teenager. Nobody knew what it was except for me, I'm sure, in that town, but I was excited. I wish I had that album still. started out, I think when I first started listening to jazz, Eric Dolphy is one of the first artists that I listened to. You know, I did jazz at the 5 Spot with Booker Little, you know, and Mal Waldron. And, you know, I used to listen to that album all the time. Eric Dolphy is just a great instrumentalist.
He was wonderful. Curtis, you attended the School of Arts and were around talented musicians like Mark Stallings and Kofi Burbridge. How did being around players like that shape you early on?
Well, it just Mark Stallings could listen to a record 3 times and play the whole record back. He liked Emerson, Lake and Palmer ELP, and you know, Kofi Burbridge back then was a monster. He just, even as a young age, was a monster. And you know, I remember going in class with Mark Stallings for ear training. You know, and they'd play intervals, and as soon as they play it, Mark had his, you know, and it's like, how do you do that? You know, but he had perfect pitch. So it was just incredible. It was a tough school. You know, we'd have to do juries where you'd have to go perform pieces, but before the faculty. And one of the faculty members was the first chair for clarinet, New York Philharmonic. And I remember being sick a couple of times before having to do those because there was a lot of pressure, you know.
I'm sure. But being in that environment kicks your butt.
It did.
Yeah. Good experience.
Yeah, it was. Very hard is good for the soul. Oh, dude, that's an app. It's called iFart.
Okay. Well. Okay. I've been around you enough.
You can't tell the fake from the real.
Okay. I gotta compose myself here. Oh man,
you gotta have fun, man.
Oh yes, sir.
You know, at this age, I'm just going to do gigs I want to do. I don't want. I want to have fun. You know.
I get it.
I want to have fun. I don't want any drama on stage or jealousy.
I get it.
Whatever. I just want to have fun.
Curtis, you studied with James Hulick and Jerry Coker. What were some of the biggest lessons you took from those experiences?
James Hulick, he really taught the art of the saxophone, how the saxophone works, how to get it to make a good sound, how to get your fingers to work, you know, he was really, and he's an incredible saxophone player. He's got a site, jameshulick.com. You go listen to it. He plays some incredible stuff, just super amazing. When I was studying with him, he'd travel around the world to get composers to write classical music for the saxophone. He never cared for John Coltrane. He didn't like his sound, you know, which I like John Coltrane's sound. I like John Coltrane, but he didn't like it. It was a little bit too harsh for him. So it gave me a appreciation on, you've heard saxophone players that don't sound good. I mean, they might have great ideas, but they don't sound good. Dude, get your sound together, So he taught me that. Now, Jerry Coker is one of those guys that really inspired me. Jerry Coker inspired me to practice and learn how to play the saxophone. And he taught me tricks and things like that. He took me out once to go see Zoot Sims, took me out to a concert to see Zoot Sims. And I felt bad for Zoot because there's probably 10 people in the audience. He was playing with this incredible guitar player named Stan Samoli. And, Jerry Coker was just, he's one of those individuals that come along in a person's life and really inspires them. And, that's what we need more in this life, people that inspire other people, So, but I learned an awful lot from him and Hulick.
Wonderful. What a blessing to be around those two guys, because I know of both of them, and they're fantastic musicians.
Yeah, they're very nice, both of them. Very well. Jerry just passed away a few years back. He actually, in his later years, him and his wife moved up to Cleveland to be close to his son. His son dragged him up to Cleveland, to be close to them. So
still lots of great instructional stuff out there by Jerry Coker.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Patterns for Jazz is a classic, and he has a lot of great books and teachings out there. He taught the George Russell concept. And so that's what I grew up learning, studying under him, was the George Russell concept. And then after I started transcribing, especially Sonny Stitt, I realized that Sonny Stitt really didn't use, he did something a little bit different. He had put the flat nine in the, like if he was playing a half diminished scale, instead of playing a sharp second, he'd play a flat nine. And I brought that up to Jerry, and he was like, no, that's wrong. But what Stitt did was use the flat nine as a passing tone, and it sounds great. I mean, it really does sound great. But Jerry is an incredible teacher. That's why I like that George Russell and the Eric Dolphy album so much, because it was a study in George Russell's Lydian chromatic concept, So, and basically it just showed you how to use, how to do the tritone substitution, but with Lydian augmented scales.
Curtis, you spent time on the road with Eddie Davidson's band. And you also played with Louise Mandrell. What did these early professional experiences teach you?
Louise Mandrell was just a really, really nice lady. She's just a sweetheart. And, I was young going on the road with Eddie Davidson, and it was an experience. I mean, we had their organ player had the B3, the big B3 and the cabinet and everything like that. And I don't miss that, moving those B3s. But our first gig was in Selma, Alabama. So we get there, a guitar player had the PA, bought a brand new PA for the gig. We show up to the gig, and this place was rough. I mean, just, I'm just a kid, and we walk in there, and they did not sell crossovers in the PA. And we blew out the PA after the first song, and we had to do the whole song, and it sounded like we was playing through toilet paper. I was just thankful we get out of there alive. But living on the road, it's hard to make money unless you're making a lot of money out on the road. So, but it was. I'm glad I did it. It was a good experience living out of a suitcase.
Yeah, all that stuff, even roughing it like that, makes you the player and person that you are. I'm thankful for all of my good and bad experiences.
Yeah, those the Holiday Inn gigs were like I think it was like 5 or 6 nights a week. So, and really the secret, you got to play all the time. There's just no getting around it. If you just as a musician, you have to play all the time. My gig chops are a little not up to what they used to be, because I'm not gigging all the time. But sure. But, that's good for you. I mean, when I played with you, we played all the time, and, that's where you work it out and figure it out and how to do it,
It is. Grateful for those.
Yes, absolutely.
Curtis, you were part of the Pittsburgh music scene for many years and played with a lot of great musicians. What do you remember most about that chapter of your life?
Oh, just the wonderful musicians. And, I have to say that the Pittsburgh musicians are very welcoming. And, I run across a couple that, gave me the attitude of, what are you doing up here, but for the most part, they're genuinely welcoming. I remember playing, going to a jam session, and Roger Humphreys came up and said, nice solo to me, that makes you feel good coming from Roger Humphreys. And, going down to James Street, I met Skip Peck and his family and played a lot of shows with him. I've seen you in probably 90 or 91. I had an overnight in Pittsburgh and stayed at the William Penn, and you were playing with Modern Times outside, and it was like, holy, it blew me away. It's just, that's great. And if I said anything to anybody, I probably said it to Matt Ferrani, because he plays saxophone. But I have wonderful experiences of playing in Pittsburgh. I remember when I first got here, I got a New Year's gig with, and I can't tell you, it was a friend of your dad. Your dad wouldn't know him. And he had a girlfriend that spoke Pittsburghese. And I'm telling you what, I had no idea what that woman said. It was hilarious. But, there's just there's a lot of great memories,
I know I have many, many, because I got to play with you for over 20 years.
We did a ton of jobs. I was going to look for one of our schedules. I remember one year I said, June 1st, I said to Jack Mazowski, I said, I'll see you in September, because we were busy. I mean, just really, really busy. So.
Yeah, there were times when we were working 6 nights a week and sometimes doing double headers.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah, we were busy. So it was, it's a great training ground. Pittsburgh's a great city. I still to this day think the legacy of Pittsburgh is in the musicians there, not the sports teams. I mean, I do. I think the legacy is the musicians that came out of there,
Lots of great people, and there's still a lot of great people making music. It doesn't tend to rank as high as the football team.
It's sad. I wish, there were more in the government that were, arts-minded to think to honor those people in some way. I mean, they got a statue of Willie Stargell and Roberto Clemente, and that's great. Please do. But, what about Ray Brown and Mary Lou Williams and
George Benson, man, he's huge.
Yeah, Stanley Turrentine. I mean, it goes on and on and on. It's just amazing how much. And I'm glad to see places like the Manchester Craftsman Guild, keep up. They have some great shows. They really do.
Well, now this is going to lead me to telling our listeners how we met. All right. So I met Curtis through kind of a bad situation for me. I'm not going to mention his name, but he's a mutual friend of ours. And I had him booked. He was a saxophonist. And I booked a wedding for a girl a whole year in advance. She said, I love you. I want you at my wedding, but you have to have a sax player. You have to. And I said, okay, I know the guy I'll call. And I called him and I booked him. And it was a year before the wedding. So 6 months before the wedding, I called him back. I said, hey, we're still good for that date, right? He goes, oh, yeah, solid. Good. 3 months, we're great. Don't worry, we're good. A month, we're great. Everything's good. Don't worry. A week. Uh-oh. Tony, I screwed up. I'm double booked. I can't do the wedding. So at that time, I knew a bunch of people. I didn't know Curtis at all. Never heard of him. I called everybody I knew. Everybody. And everybody was booked. So I called the guy back and I said, you got to help me out, man. I have a bride. She's going to flip. She's going to flip out. I promised her, you know. So he said, well, call this guy Curtis Swift. He's new in town. He plays great. So I did. And Curtis was really nice. And I was talking to him on the phone. He had a really kind of a thick accent for me.
What accent?
So
I don't talk funny. Y'all talk funny.
So we're talking, and I understand about 90% of what he's saying. And he gets to one point and says, now I booked him, and he said, do you want me to bring my And I said, do I want you to bring what? That last word you said, I can't quite make it out. And you said, do you want me to bring my whatever it was? And I said, I'm sorry, man. I'm just not making out that last word. So finally you said, you want me to bring my tuxedo, my tux? So I said, yes, you need a tuxedo. And then he gets to the gig, and I had forgotten to mention to him that we were doing 6 nights a week, and I was doing probably 90 to 95% of the singing. So we started tuning down a half step from normal pitch, which means a song that's normally in E flat for a horn player is now in D, you know, or a song that is in E, like guitar key songs, it's now in E flat. So I mentioned to him, like right before we're going to play, I said, oh, by the way, we're tuned down a half step. And his eyes went, woo, and he did the best job. He nailed the show. He nailed it. It was great. And we've been friends ever since. And then I started to hire him, and I finally got it to where I hired him on everything I ever did. I wish I'd met him earlier, because he's on Live at the Blues Cafe, and he's on the Tone Poems CD. And I would have had him on everything I ever made if I'd have known him. That's the story.
Yeah, tuned down a half step. Yeah, I think my jaw hit the floor when you said that. I just wasn't ready for it. This was right before the show, too.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that, too. You probably would have turned the gig down.
No, there's a blues band I play with, and they do the same thing down here. And, you know, it's just like, yeah, they do a lot of songs in G, and G sharp is just not my favorite key. You know, I just, because, you know, when you're playing, you don't want to think about anything. You just want to play music and think about where the song's going and where everybody's going and everything. And
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was Archie Shep. I was playing a little avant-garde there a couple of times, because it's...
Or as we said, you were shepping.
I was shepping.
You were shepping. So, G.
Take 2.
Man. You have no shame.
Well, I hope this interview is at least enjoyable for you.
G, during your years in Pittsburgh, you performed over 20 years, including 20 years you worked with me, right?
Yep.
You also studied with Matt Otto, who encouraged you to start transcribing. How did that Pittsburgh chapter shape you as a player and eventually lead to the work you're doing today at saxsolos.com?
No, I just, I think musicians just want to get better, and I recognized that my ears needed help. And I asked him about it, taking lessons from him. He's a wonderful player, by the way. He's got quite a few albums, and he's got a lot of, I think, just mattauto.com or .org or something. But if you Google him, he's a wonderful player. So I asked him, and he said, do transcribing. And And so I started transcribing, and I think after 50, I came up with the idea that maybe somebody else would like some of these. So I built a little website, a rinky-dinky website, and it was really rough. And it's an interesting story. I think what really pushed it over the edge was there's a guy that lives probably 10 miles from me, and he sent me a check one day for $300 for like 4 solos. And I was like, okay, maybe this is not too bad of an idea to do. So, since I've moved down here to Texas, I've contacted him and gone out to eat with him and hung out a little bit. But, it's been going for like 20, I started in 98 with the site. And Dave Sanborn really helped me out a lot with the site because he turned me on to his web developer and really just put it in a different category. So, I'm really thankful for David for helping me do that. But it's got legs. It's walking on its own now, so it's doing pretty good.
Tremendous. It's doing really well. You have like over 5,500 transcriptions on your site, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of work.
I got Dexter Gordon's widow contacted me, and she wanted me to do some solos for her website for Dexter Gordon. So if you go to the Dexter Gordon site, a lot of my transcriptions are there. She have invited me to me and my wife to New York for the opening of the Dexter Gordon Foundation. So that was fun. It was up at Dizzy's Club, and it was a lot of fun. We had a good time going up there. I met some really a lot of nice people when I travel. Sometimes I'll meet up with some of my customers, and we'll just hang out and talk shop and things like that. So I have met a lot of people through the site, so it's real good.
It's a wonderful site, and those of you out there interested in transcriptions, saxsolos.com. Great site, and honestly, Curtis, your pricing is unbelievably reasonable.
Well, I've got some. I want to reduce it even more. Some songs, I always charge 50 cents a page. So the ones that have 50 pages, I want to make it so that you can get those that are affordable. I try to make it because I'm thinking about the high school kids that maybe want to learn, a solo, and so I'm always thinking about our college kids that don't have any money. So that's what I'm thinking about, is trying to help those particular type of people. I'm not in it to I'm in it to learn, to get help my ears, and it does work. If transcribing does help your ears, it really does.
Sure does. Yeah. Well, it's a great site, so folks, make sure you go over to saxsolos.com.
Thanks for the plug. I'll pay you at the end of this. I'll Venmo you some money.
I told you it's going to be a big bill.
That's okay. That's okay.
Curtis, through your website, saxsolos.com, you've connected with musicians around the world, including people like George Gables, and we've talked about David Sanborn.
Oh, George just sent me a postcard and said, thanks for what you're doing, and it's just like, wow, that's cool. But no, he just sent me a postcard saying thank you for what you're doing with the solo site, so. And
then I know with David Sanborn, you got a phone call, and I think it was on your answering machine, right?
Well, I was brushing my teeth. So I still have the recorded message on my phone. I'd have to, I'd have to go through 20 years of, looking for it. But, I still got the message on my phone somewhere.
Wonderful. And in your dealings with David, he was a tremendous guy, I imagine.
The first time he was coming to Pittsburgh, and he offered me backstage passes, and so the way it was going to work is he was going to get his stage manager to take care of me. Well, a stage manager got stuck on a plane. David was freaking out, so his personal assistant called me and said, "This is what's happening." She said something like, "Tell me where you are in the audience," And I told her we had great seats. So they sent somebody out to get me, and it took me backstage to meet Dave. And I think I had Ricky Dickerson and Richard Everett. So, I took them back, and we met Dave Sanborn, and I'm sitting there going, I couldn't talk. Here's my idol, and I couldn't talk. And I've met famous people. I met Ray Brown on the plane before, and it's just like, after I met him, I was like, shucks, I wish I'd asked him about Charlie Parker, because he played with him just a lot. But, so then Dave called up his assistant and said, we got him. He just was a genuinely nice guy. And, and that's real nice to see, and people of that caliber, being genuine people. So.
Actually, anybody who I've ever talked to that knew him said that about him. Ron Reinhardt knew him very well and said he was a great guy.
Yeah, he's a real nice guy. Really nice guy.
Yeah. Surely missed, too.
Oh, absolutely. He just, he created a whole new branch on the tree of jazz. He has his own branch up there.
Right. So looking back on your career, from performing to transcribing to building saxsolos.com, what are your future plans, and what would you still like to accomplish musically?
Musically, I just want to become a better player. There's so much to learn. It's endless.
I understand it.
Yeah, I just want to learn how to talk better, and it's what it's about, is having conversations. Down here, fortunately, there's a couple bands that listen. And it's not, let's turn up our guitars or our instruments up to 10 and play, and you can hear one person, but you can't hear the rest. But there's a couple of bands that, keep the volume so that they can hear everybody. And that's really enjoyable. I mean, to me, that's really enjoyable, so I do enjoy that.
Excellent. Yeah, it helps being around people that have sensitivities. There are some that don't, so that makes it difficult.
Yeah, it does. It really does. I did a show not too long ago, and we had a sound guy. I have to say this, there's some really good sound guys down here, but this particular sound guy had the sub so loud that you couldn't hear yourself on stage. It's like, excuse me, can you turn that down a little bit? You have to deal with, we've dealt with a lot.
I have been there with you.
Yeah.
I remember a particular boat gig that we did where George Eliot couldn't lift his hands off his bass.
Yes. I will say the best concert I ever saw was Chick Corea's electric band. And I'm telling you what, that you could hear a pin drop, and the sound was so good. You could hear everybody clearly. It was truly amazing. It was an amazing concert, just to hear something like that and a sound guy do that well with music.
Great sound people are just so critical. I just went to see Gino Vanelli the other night, and Mike MacArthur's playing with him, so we went to hear him. And Gino's brother, Ross, is always at the front of house.
Right.
And they always sound great.
Yeah, you told me about a show in somebody's backyard.
Well, what happened was I went to the gig, and there were a couple union guys who I knew that were there setting up PA. And the one guy was complaining because he said, "Oh, Ross is making us tear the whole PA down because it wasn't flown right." And I said, "Well, listen to him, because the guy knows exactly what he's doing." I said, "Every time I go hear them, it's like a record every night." So I told him, I said, "It's probably not fun for you, but the guy's kind of a genius, so listen to him."
It can be done.
So Curtis, do you remember we got into hot sauce, like majorly into hot sauce, okay? I think we did a wedding, an early wedding after playing a late night at a place called BC Kenley's in Latrobe, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we played at Seven Springs for the wedding. Yeah,
that's right. And we had Joe Monroe with us on keyboards.
We did, and
we were tired. We were tired.
And Joe Monroe bought a bottle of
Dave's Insanity sauce.
And we all took a little bit of it and bam, woke us up just like that. It really amazing. It was transforming.
It was transforming. Although I have to say that Dave's Insanity sauce to me tasted kind of like eating battery acid or something.
Yeah, it was nasty. But then I think we lost one of the videographers or the cameraman that night. You know, I think we never saw him anymore after that because we all did.
That's where you started it. You started, hey, you like hot stuff? I don't know how many people this guy burnt over the years, and he enjoyed it.
I especially liked the one it was at Blues Cafe in the South Side, and this guy, I said, you like hot stuff? He says, I'm from Texas. I said, I'll be right down. And we had cookies, and we put a dab on the cookies, and next thing I know, I think he was in the bathroom throwing up and giving everybody the bird. And
he pretty much accosted me. I was down in the basement getting paid. I come out and the dude sees me and he goes, bleep you know, one of those things. And I was like, why? Your sax player burnt me, man.
He looked at me and said, if I wasn't gay, I'd beat your butt.
So there was also this guy, this muscle-bound guy that would come to see us who ended up being our friends. Well, I'm not sure he was your friend at the end, but his name was Mike Orsini.
I don't think he likes me.
Mike Orsini. So Curtis and myself and the other guys in the band, we would go to the pizza shop next door to get food on our break. And the pizza shop was really cool because they let us do our thing. We bought a bottle of hot sauce called Blair's 6 a.m., and we pitched in 4 people. It was me, you, George Elliott, and Pete Galamas, whose dad owned the bar, and Pete Jr. bartended. We bought this. It was $250 at the time for a bottle of hot sauce.
2 ounces.
And, yeah, but we never went through it. I mean,
one drop. Got some. You want some? I got some.
One drop. So what we did was we would put it on pizza, but Curtis had the great idea of where he placed it on the pizza in the pizza sauce. So he would entice people to have a slice of pizza.
I tell them not put it in the middle of the pizza. Don't put it in the middle. You know, that way, because, you know, Mike Orsini came in and I said, Mike, this pizza's hot. He said, and he'd take a bite and he said, oh, that's nothing. And he'd keep on. Well, I was the only member of the band that got booed and got the middle finger when Tony introduced me.
Yes, for eternity. For the eternity of that gig, Curtis, when I introduced Curtis Swift, Mike would give Curtis the one finger salute and boo him.
Yep. I burned him twice, going in and going out. Yeah, he hurt.
Oh, that was the thing too. It did burn more than once.
It did burn.
What were we thinking?
The endorphin rush from that Seven Springs gig. We just realized if we were really tired, this would wake us up. And oh yes, it wakes you up.
Oh man, that hot sauce is something else. That stuff is insane. Don't they make one now that's 20 million Scoville units?
I don't know. There's a guy on Facebook that's called, his tag is Craven Capsaicin, and he eats stupid hot. I mean, just he'll like drink a bottle. You know, he's unreal.
Well, the Blairs that we bought was 10 million, right? 10 million Scoville units. So if you look into hot sauce, that's how they measure the heat in Scoville units. So not to be confused with John Scofield, the guitar player. This is Scoville, right?
Right.
Curtis, not only are you and I lifelong friends because we met through music, but our wives became the best of friends.
Oh, yes.
And it's really great to see. But I will say, I'm going to show some pictures. And I think they're both a little bit loony. I'm just saying.
I'll make sure one knows that you said that.
I think they're both a little bit loony. I think they're going to agree when they see the photos. No, I'm grateful though that they've had such a great relationship.
And we miss you guys. I mean, we miss you guys. I mean, it's we always had fun together when y'all were close.
You bet. Well, when we get together, we still do. We need to see each other more often.
Right.
I have to tell the people, Wanda's dad. Wanda grew up on a farm. And they had 250 acres, I believe. Am I right, Curtis?
Yeah, I think it's 350, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. 350 acres.
Yeah, 350 is what it is.
But this beautiful, beautiful wooded, like a forest, okay? So her dad was the greatest guy, and he had this crazy Jeep, and there was a path up through the woods. This Jeep had no floorboards. It was insane, and you would ride in it, and you would get like exhaust fumes, right? It was the whole deal. So
the Flintstone mobile.
It was kind of like that. So we went up into the woods one day with her dad, and he was the greatest guy. And somehow I got separated from everybody else. And I'm walking through these woods by myself, until something goes crashing through. It looked like a big black object, but crashing through the woods, right? So they made fun of me. They made fun of me for years.
Well, you got a picture of that. You want to show a picture of that? You got a bear picture. That bear's still looking for you,
So they made fun of me, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it went on and on and on. Finally, there were major bear sightings up in the woods.
We went up to that area not too long ago, and it turns out that they have a huge elk population. And now this is a big elk population. And there's a governor's ticket that you can purchase so you're allowed to shoot, bag one of these elk. And I think last year it went for $300,000 just to get the opportunity to get. But speaking of, I have to tell the story about Wanda's dad. First time I ever met him, he didn't say hello or anything. He said, "Follow me." Now follow him. And he has this big gun rack. He says, "You see all these guns? I know how to use every one."
He was so great. He had the driest sense of humor.
Our friend says you ought to call him Arizona.
He did. But man, he was funny. But you had to get to know, like, you weren't always sure.
Yeah.
And I'm sure when you met him with the guns, you weren't sure,
Oh, it was, he was on your P's and Q's. I was on my P's and Q's when I learned it, and
well, they're great people. And again, we're so blessed to have known them. I mean, my goodness. How cool. And we had some nice times up at the farm. It was really nice. You have to tell me about this 101 marching band.
The 101, that was the School of the Arts. They had an intramural football league would play the Wake Forest Badasses is what they were called. And we were the NCSA Pickles. And our motto was sling 'em by the warts. So, we decided us three guys would be the marching band because, you have marching band at halftime. So we came up with the 101 marching band, and we wore our underwear and put pots on our heads and went out and did the halftime show.
Why the pots on the heads?
Oh, I don't know. Why not wear any pants? I don't know.
Great picture. You got to tell me the story on these pictures of you in lederhosen.
Oh, I played in a band in Gatlinburg on top of the mountain where the ski resort was, and that's where we was on a stage like it was 4 feet up, and it was a German family. They used to travel around with the circus, and it was a trampoline act. So they had this. There's a big restaurant, and we was in the middle. The bandstand was in the middle, and they'd put the trampoline in the middle, and the guy would start jumping up and down on the trampoline and doing flips and all like that. And one night, his shoe came off, and it went singing by somebody's head. But it was polka music. Had to play the clarinet polka every night, and the sad part about it was those roaches. The place was roach infested, and you could see them on stage, and I just feel sorry for the waitresses and the waiters because they'd come running to the back and say, "Oh Lord, those roaches." But it was fun. I mean, it was fun. I did that for years. Tennessee was a great music state. I'd go from there and then go to an after hours club after I got off, and then after that I'd go to another after hours club, and I'd get home like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I lived at right next to, back then, as Silver Dollar City. And then it changed to Dollywood, and I don't know what time of morning it was, but that train would blow its whistle, and I just, oh man, I'm not a violent person, but I wanted to create a bomb and blow up that train.
Oh my, that is just too funny. That I have to say, had I known you had such nice legs, I'd have probably had you play in shorts in the band. I mean,
well, I'm wearing shorts right now in honor of it,
I have to say that mustache you had in the Daddy-O band, it's pretty killer.
That was the first road band. We did the Holiday Inn tour with that band, and we went down to Alabama, and our first show was in Selma. And I have to say, the first club we played at was pretty rough, and we had a brand new PA that whoever sold it to us didn't put the crossovers in. And what that means is you play the first song and it sounds like you're playing through a toilet paper tube because you blow out something, It was a tough gig. I'm just thankful we got out of there alive. But I remember going to places, some of the best fried chicken I've ever had in my life was a place called Opp, Alabama.
I can tell you this, it's an interesting looking band, and that get up you have on is pretty killer. It just is. And that mustache, man.
Being the black guy was the organ player. He had a B3, and we had to carry that thing. And anytime we go to a new town, we'd always go look for barbecue, And we found some interesting barbecue. I mean, places in the middle of the woods, shacks, and barbecue between two pieces of white bread is interesting, but we like doing that, and I always look for key lime pie. And I remember this one place I stopped in, and they said, well, this is not your normal key lime pie. It is key lime pie, and it didn't look like anything I've ever seen look like key lime pie. It was pretty good though, but
I remember that was your favorite.
Yeah, I like key lime pies. Yeah.
That's tremendous. It looks like a fun band.
It was a fun band. We did have a good time. I always play with my eyes closed, and for some reason, women would flash me. I don't know why.
Well, just that's part of being the rock star that you are.
I never saw it. The band had to tell me about it afterwards. Yeah. That's okay.
It's tough being a nerd. I'm a big nerd. I'm a big nerd. I remember the time when I was playing at the Blues Cafe, and I was playing, and suddenly a bra ended up on the end of my headstock, and it freaked me out. And I went, whoop, and I flipped it off. But yeah, it's what two nerds in show business do, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Curtis, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Oh, thanks for having me on.
Thank you. I
mean,
do want to say this. I have to say how absolutely grateful I am for that day that our mutual friend stood me up on that gig and I met you, because, man, it's been a great time ever since for me.
Well, we'd always do these gigs, and we'd have crazy experiences. I mean, just crazy experiences. We always said, we ought to write it down. We ought to make a diary of this stuff. And you had an expression that goes in the book or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. I'd say that's going in the book. That's going in the book.
I mean, because we had, I still remember that policeman's thing we did, and we get to this place, and I forget where it was, and we look at the load in, and the load in was on the second floor outside, and there's no steps, it was just a door 2 floors up, and it's just like.
It was crazy. That was in Lancaster, PA.
Yeah,
that's it. It was the Pennsylvania Chiefs of Police ball, and our friend Russell McKibben was being inducted as the chief, the grand poobah, as we would call him, of the whole thing. It was amazing. So we get there, and they say, go around back, and there's a cherry picker that actually we have to load the gear on there, and they lift it up, and there's a big hole in the side of the building, and they shove it into the building from this cherry picker, and then we go back in and have to load from there. It was wild. But we had a lot of good times, man. And I'm just real grateful for it, Curtis. And you know what? We're still doing it.
Yeah,
in different ways.
Yeah, I learned a lot of music from you, man. I just listening to you play over the years for 2 decades. I learned. You taught me a lot. I'll say this: the biggest one thing I use to this day is if you're playing a minor blues and you get to that 4 chord, do a 3-6-2-5 on it. Do a half diminish before you get down to it. I think they call it a 5-on-5 or whatever. I don't know.
That's one of my common practices. I like to insert a 5 chord.
Yeah, and you can use that. You can really use that a lot in different scenarios. So you taught me that, and just from listening to you play all the time, because I know I said, Tone, what did you do there? And it just
Well, trust me, I learned from you too, man. And you're a great player and a great friend, and I'm grateful to God that we met. It was a strange circumstance, but as I'm always telling people that come and listen to this podcast, silver linings, man. It was a great silver lining when I met you.
Oh, for me too. I mean, absolutely. It was just, it's been knowing you guys has been great. Just absolutely fabulous,
Well, we're thrilled and blessed. And by the way, Curtis, the Winter Park tune that you played on is getting some airplay now. So
I hear that. Yeah. I heard it. Where was it? Tampa?
It was, I think, Daytona Beach is where my friend called me.
That's right. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll get heard some other places, and
you need to make a song, Tone. You know the song, they're gonna put me in the movies, they're gonna make a big star out of me. You need to make one for radio.
There you go. And they're probably gonna put me in jail is more like it, but all right, buddy, I love you, man.
Love you guys.
Thank you. And tell Wanda we said hey. We can't wait to see you guys again. Okay?
Yes. Yeah, it's been too long. It's been way too long. Hey, did we shop? We must shop at the same place. You got the same hat as I do.
I think we do.
And this shirt, I have to say, this product is this is a nice shirt. It really is.
Well, excuse me. As always, I have a great time with Curtis. You can't be around, or you can't be around Curtis without having fun. That's what I meant to say. I almost said you can be around Curtis without having fun. So that's not good. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. I did, very much so. And I'm coming back to say hello to a few people. I did see Wayne made it all the way from the UK. Ladies and gentlemen, Wayne is here. And I did see John Klein here too. So he is another fine guitarist that's here. And Laurie Miller is here from the West Coast as well. She can sing, man. She can sing. And she's originally from the Pittsburgh area, but she is living out near, we're going to call it Seattle-ish. And she's great. And Randy, the dancers are here. They're great people. And I saw the comment. So I met Randy. I got hired to play, of all things, I got hired to play at a McDonald's in the parking lot to play for veterans. And I used to do a version of the Star Spangled Banner that people seemed to like. So the owner, who owned a bunch of McDonald's, he hired me to do a show out in the parking lot to honor the veterans. And Randy's a veteran. And Randy swears to this day that I almost hit him with my van. So I may have, but I didn't hit him. So it's all good. And we've been friends ever since. Great guy. And Gina's here. Scott, Curtis is a blast. Yes. I knew the first day I met the guy that we were going to be friends for the rest of our lives. I just love him. And Wanda and their families. I mean, you can't beat it with a stick. I mean that in a good way. Thank you. So somebody said that's Nicole. Am I correct? Grandma Minnie? Thank you on the compliment on the Star Spangled Banner. Thank you. Yes, Randy, 20 years and more. All right, I'm going to scroll back because I don't know if I missed anybody. I'm always busy here at Command Central. And appreciate you guys coming out. It was really a nice time tonight. Next week, I have my friend Reggie Jackson, and he's not the baseball player. No, although I'd like to have him on because I love baseball. But no, Reggie Jackson's a great drummer. Played with a bunch of people. And in fact, Laurie Miller is here, and she loves Diane Shore, and who doesn't? And Reggie was her drummer for at least 20 years. So, very cool. Anybody? Oh, yeah, I did see Jimmy Blanket, Drum Blanket. Jimmy's a funny guy. Jimmy got in a fight with Alexa today. I mean, Alexa. Yeah. He got in a fight with her. Over the word capo, a guitar capo. I told Jimmy that she kept calling it capo. And I said, well, maybe she's Italian. Because I believe that's what they called mob bosses, captains in the Italian mob, was a capo. So maybe Alexa. I don't know. You better watch it, Jimmy. Alexa may have you sleeping with the fishes. I'm just telling you. Be careful with her. Okay. Frank Savoca, it's great to see you, buddy, all the way from New Jersey. But I got to tell you, Wayne from the UK beat you. That's Jimmy for you. Wayne, yes, he did. He said he got in a major argument. And he was having a hard time to correcting Alexa. He couldn't, it wouldn't stick. It wouldn't stick. So I said, well, maybe she's Italian. All right. Before I go, there you go. Mr. Prism. How you doing, buddy? By the way, I love hats. But Mr. Prism, he looks better and cooler in a hat that almost looks like an upside-down funnel made of foil than any hat I've ever worn. He looked great. I peeked in on his live stream last week, and it was very cool. Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy's a character. I like him. Boss of all bosses. Yes, the Mr. Prism. By the way, I mistakenly chatted accidentally to your wife and told her I thought her hat, or I thought it was you. I thought the hat was cool on you, and she corrected me. It was funny. Let's see. Drove through the Surfside. Drove Surfside, yes. So, hey, let me tell you real quickly, Surfside Beach, Randy, we do miss it. We miss you guys. I surely, too, missed the winter because this was a bad winter up in this area. I'm going to go back to the guests that are coming up. So here's who's going to be on, and I have more than this, but I couldn't fit them on this little screen. So next week is Reggie Jackson. Great drummer, and he's a great guy. And we've actually played together mostly through recordings, but quite a bit on recordings. Jamie Glaser, my friend Jamie Glaser, is a wonderfully talented guitarist and keyboardist. The guy is very, very talented and a nice guy and an animal lover. And we met when he was playing in Pittsburgh with Jean-Luc Ponty. And somebody urged him to come out to the club I was playing. And we became fast friends many, many years ago. We've stayed friends ever since. I love the guy. Then after that, I have two guys that are going to be on. My old drummer, Joe Pinchotti, who's out on the road with Charles Wesley Godwin, and they're a pretty big Americana act, and they just did a tune with Luke Combs, the country artist. So he's going to be on, and my buddy Marvin Frock from Rocket Custom Guitars, great guy. He's from South Carolina. That's where I met him. Then my friend Tom Hemby, who can play the guitar like crazy. He is awesome, and he's played with Amy Grant and Vince Gill and many, many others. He's done session work all over the place, talented. His family's talented. Tom is also a funny guy. Speaking of talented and funny guys, the next guy, Goombi Ortiz. I love him. He is the percussionist with Al Di Meola. So any of you guitar players out there, he's been Al's right-hand man for quite a while. And he's going to be on, and I can't wait. He is funny, and he's talented, and way cool. Then after that, man, one of my favorite B3 organ players. He plays great piano too. His name's Bobby Floyd from Columbus, Ohio. Bobby's, man, he is a killer player. Then after that, my friend Don Alico Jr. from the Nashville area again. He's a great saxophonist, but he's originally from Pittsburgh. And his dad's a musician, Don Alico Sr. My dad's a musician, Tony Janflone Sr. So we have actually done father and son nights. There was a club over in Shadyside called The Balcony, and all four of us played over there. Pretty cool stuff. Then after that, great bass player who I've gotten to work with before. In fact, Paul and I played together with Billy Price down in San Antonio, Texas. And Paul is a great bass player and has a big YouTube channel, so go check it out. It's called PD Bass. PD D Bass. And he's got a huge channel, and it's really cool and informative. Then after that, my friend Gary Talley, another Nashville guitarist who is the original guitar player with the Box Tops. My Baby, She Wrote Me a Letter. That song, you guys know The Letter. It's a great song. Gary Talley. And go check out Gary Talley's YouTube because there's really heartwarming things on there. He has his mother on there, and I think she's in her 90s, like later, because Gary, I believe, 79 now. So I'm going to say his mom's probably getting closer to 100 years old, and they sing hymns together. He plays acoustic guitar, and she's sweet, and she sings, and it's so cool. It will warm your heart. That's Gary Talley over on YouTube, okay? And I'm back over here in the chat. Let me go back. Any questions out there, folks? Any questions? Exciting? Yes. And in fact, I'll tell you what. I did talk to David Goldblatt today. David is a great keyboard player who's played with a bunch of people. He used to be the music director of the Dennis Miller Show. That was on quite a while ago, but he's toured with bunches of people, played on sessions for bunches of people, and he is currently playing with Gino Vanelli. And he also has a really talented son who's a singer and songwriter. So he's going to be on eventually here. I talked to him today. And I also talked to one of my favorite bass players on planet Earth, and Jimmy Haslip, and he's played with everybody. And we haven't gotten a time together yet, but he agreed to do the show, so I'm excited about that. And I have others, but I just want to present them when they're getting a little closer, because that puts me into the fall. So anyway, go back to the chat. And once again, thanks again for all your support. If you get a chance, stream my songs that are on Spotify and on the streaming services. I'm not putting many up right now because Winter Park itself, and I played it earlier in the program, is catching some steam. You know, it's getting some steam. So I don't want to confuse what they call the algorithm. And I don't want to mess things up by putting other stuff out. And I'm sort of a chameleon because you'll hear me play rock and blues stuff and then some of this other stuff that sounds like jazz or smooth jazz. And sometimes it can confuse people or people that aren't people, like algorithms. Let's see here. Any questions? Where do I write the check? That's the best question of the evening. That's from Curtis Swift, ladies and gentlemen. He said, where do I write the check? The check can be sent to K. Janflone. That's how it goes here. Joking. My wife's sweet as can be. Our next pizza is on me, plus the hot sauce. I eat stuff that will take the clear coat off your van. No kidding, Darren. Wow, I'm way out of shape on that stuff. Curtis and I, all the four people that ate this stuff regularly, we developed cast iron stomachs for a while. It'd kill me now. Yeah, Kay's the money man. Laurie. All right, guys and gals. And remember this. Number one, if I ever miss you in a chat, I don't mean to do that. I'm here to hopefully make your day better. So if I missed you, it wasn't on purpose, and I will get you on the next one. And if you get a chance and can share the program with your friends, next week, Reggie Jackson, I'd appreciate that. And got the store, CDs for sale, mugs for sale. Here's their CDs. Ready? Tone Poems, Blues Cafe. Those are over at the Fourth Wall store. And yeah, I think that's about it. Awesome, everybody. Listen, be well. Spread bunches of love. We're in a little shorter supply nowadays, I think. So, we can all make a big difference right in your part of the world, wherever you are, the people you come in contact with. Don't get discouraged, because you can make a darn big difference if you reach out and be kind. And, you have the power to do that. So let's do our thing here and spread love. And I'll see y'all next week, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube.